Don, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. What a beautiful setting.
I was going to say, we have the way better view than you guys do. If you get a second, but I mean not now, but you need to turn around and just look at what's going on out there.
It's super great.
How are you?
I'm good. You know, day one.
Yeah, it is day one.
So.
I can't thank you enough for coming out here today. So, you've heard of AI.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I really was thrilled to be out at Qualcomm a couple of weeks ago, and I heard you talk a lot about the way that the chip world is working, and the Microsoft deal had not quite been announced. It was announced, but it wasn't announced.
Sure.
Would you mind talking about it? Because I think it's one of the really interesting things that's happening in all of AI right now.
Sure. So we've been working with Microsoft for quite some time on basically reinventing the PC experience. And what a PC can be for users, whether you're working and using your PC or whether you're using it for personal reasons. And there hasn't been much innovation in the PC space in years, decades, really. But with the advent of AI and some of the tool sets that Microsoft has built and the experiences they've built into Windows in the form of Copilot and now Copilot Plus, we were excited to partner with them to bring that all to life and actually make that real for people, which is hitting shelves tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
June 18th. Woo! You can buy a new Copilot Plus PC powered exclusively by Snapdragon at a retailer near you. And we're excited about all the experiences that both Microsoft is bringing to kind of on-device AI and AI at the edge with Copilot Plus, but also our OEM partners like Samsung and Lenovo and others who are adding their own flavor to the AI story and their own unique experiences based on their expertise, their prowess, and understanding their consumers.
So there are a lot of flavors of this Copilot Plus PC out there. It's not just but they brought out their Surface models as well.
Yes.
And their own laptops.
Yes.
Which I got a chance to preview, and it's really something special. So, what do you think happens from a consumer perspective? All of a sudden, they're sort of caught between two PC worlds, right? The new Snapdragon-enabled, sort of AI-enabled PCs, and then that old-fashioned PC I used to have. Like there were three flavors of PC in the old days, right? Now there's a fourth flavor.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's sort of coinciding with an upgrade cycle too, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because people are now starting in the PC space. Upgrade cycles are about every 4 years in general, and we went through a big one at the advent of COVID because people were all forced to go home and work, and they needed a device that they could actually now communicate from, as well as do video conferencing from, and they hadn't really used their PC for that in the past. So everyone rushed out or rushed to Amazon or online. And bought a new device. But again, those devices were the same devices that existed pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So not a lot of innovation. Cameras were crappy. Lots of experiences really didn't live up to what the needs were, even when we're all locked down.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2024, and it's now 4 years later. Those devices are even older than they were before, and we have the advent of AI and all these new user experiences. So that's all bringing this inflection point of upgrade cycle, new experiences, innovation in the PC space. Microsoft kind of finally bringing or leapfrogging where the innovation is coming from for these devices and pushing that forward. So it's a really special time, not only for us as part of the group of partners bringing this to life, but for users, for both consumers and for enterprises, to increase productivity, creativity, make your entertainment experience better, whatever it may be. It's an amazing time.
So I think you just sort of stated the benefits in a row, but just to bring it all the way down, in the old days, your computer had a CPU, which was the central processing unit,
right,
some kind of graphics processor, and they could really range from super cheap and cheesy to pretty good.
Sure.
Laptops were somewhere in the middle to the lower end of that. There were some gaming laptops, right, that really pressed graphic cards really hard, NVIDIA empowered. But then all of a sudden we're in a new space where the Snapdragon Microsoft sort of combo gives certain AI empowerment over and above a normal graphics card. And I wonder, I think you fully articulated the benefits, but just to break it down, Why should someone sit back and say, wow, upgrade cycle, I've got 4 choices now. I got a Chromebook, I got a regular laptop, I'm maybe looking at the MacBook stuff or a tablet of some kind. And now I have this new Snapdragon-enabled AI-centric PC. Why? Like, I'm a consumer. I'm going to the store. I'm in Best Buy. I'm looking at 4 different things. Why do I care that this thing is, quote, AI enhanced? And why would I make the choice to buy it?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's based on what you're looking for, right, and what your needs are. But I would suggest that if you're out there looking for a new device, and you're concerned, number one, about performance. So Snapdragon X Elite kicks ass in performance. So you're not going to compromise.
Is that a technical term, kicks ass?
That is a
okay,
technical
good.
term.
I just wanted to make sure that was a term of art.
Yeah, it absolutely kicks ass. And so performance-wise, for everything you want to do with your PC, you're going to be splendidly and delightfully surprised on how performant it is. Battery life for days. We're talking days, not hours, but days. Something that's been a huge pain point in the PC
Is that because of its
space.
Mobile roots, that it just knows how to be battery efficient?
It's because we know how to do performance and power better than anybody, right? We've had to do it in a device this big for a number of years. Now we get to do it in a device this big.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, real estate.
Yeah.
And so we've enabled our OEM partners to really kick up the battery life. They're quoting 27, 32 hours of battery life. Which is amazing. If you're like video streaming for 36 hours, you can video stream. It's so the battery life is amazing. I just got a new Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Edge, powered by Snapdragon before I came to Cannes. It's now on day 3. I haven't had to plug in to charge it at all. And so that's amazing. So battery life, performance, and then you're talking about these new experiences.
Yeah.
And there are the AI experiences that people are going to experiment with, like live captions and real-time translation, for example, co-creativity with Paint and Co-Creator, Windows Studio's effects, Recall when they've enhanced the security and authentication part
Right.
for Recall is a game changer. So there's these game changer experiences that no longer are people talking about CPU and GPU, but they're talking about a new part of the platform called NPU, which is basically the neural processing engine of these devices now. These are brand new. They require a lot of performance in order to pull off these tasks. Because AI is going to be running pervasively in the background, and then you're going to toggle it on and off depending on what you want to do. But even beyond that, Snapdragon platforms have always historically been industry leading in providing amazing camera experiences,
yes,
amazing audio experiences. So not even beyond AI. If you're going to be video conferencing and you want to look your best, and you want to take advantage of Windows Studio effects, you need a great ISP so that OEMs can now put 8K cameras, front-facing cameras in their devices because of the Snapdragon platform. If you want to listen to audio, whether it's music or you're just watching video, having Snapdragon Sound as a part of the platform gives you lossless audio with noise cancellation and all those great features. So it's really the entire experience that's changed. So if you're out there looking for a PC, it's really, yes, I want high performance, I want long battery life, but I also want it to be able to do what I want it to do at a very, very high level. And
Is
so
it
that's why I think
safe to
Snapdragon's
say that, and I'm putting words in your mouth, so you correct me if I'm wrong, but someone asked me the other day why, the question I just asked you, and I said, my phone is more powerful than my laptop, and I wish my phone was full size and grown up. And when I looked at the specs of the new Snapdragon and the new NPUs, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, it's a giant phone. Excellent. Is that a bad way to think about it, or is that a good way to think about it?
I think it's a good way to think about it. I mean, computing has become more mobile over time anyway.
Yeah.
The inflection point of people's digital lives shifted from the PC a long time ago.
Sure.
To the smartphone. And the smartphone is a supercomputer in your pocket,
Yeah.
right? And largely because of what we do every day, the hard stuff, right? So I think now taking those use cases and taking that power performance architecture and bringing that into a larger form factor that is more useful if you need a full-size keyboard, if you need a bigger screen, right? For whatever your tasks are, whatever you're performing, or you just want to watch, a movie in on a larger screen, whatever it is. It's a nice elevation and evolution of how useful these devices can be going forward.
So we think about computing at the edge and AI at the edge. It seems to me there are 2 schools of thought now. you get the foundational models that are computationally incredibly complex and really expensive to run.
Yes.
Our OpenAI bill is legendarily high, and for all of our clients, and everybody, you know, it's like low cost, no cost, near or at real time. All that's true when you're goofing around, but when you deploy this stuff, all of a sudden you get the bill, it's like, oh my God, how many tokens did we burn? And the answer is a lot, and they like to put a meter on those tokens. So there's a pretty decent argument for compute at the edge and for bringing large language models, small, very, very focused ones, onto your local devices. And I know Qualcomm, and I'm not trying to shill Qualcomm, they're not paying me any money, just understand. I know Qualcomm's been really pressing this hard for a long time, this idea of AI at the edge. And it's very clear that this new Snapdragon arrangement is sort of getting you, you know, part of the way there. Talk about the road, if you can, the roadmap at Qualcomm and how you see consumers being empowered. And I think for marketers, your compatriots CMOs, it's critical to understand how this is going to likely impact consumer behavior going forward, right? Because this is a new technology that's literally going to alter the way we behave. So could you talk a little bit about the roadmap and how you're thinking about it and what you feel consumers might actually be empowered to do that in a future iteration of this that they aren't now?
Well, I think in order for AI to scale, right, it's going to have to be hybrid. So you're going to have all your things that go to the cloud and data center and run up all your bills, as you mentioned. But there are also sustainability issues. There are economic model issues, as you mentioned. There's water issues, right? So, you know, having everything have to go to the cloud is just not a sustainable model. On-device AI, or AI at the edge, is going to basically help AI scale in a hybrid way. And quite frankly, there's a lot of things that can be done that don't have to go to the cloud. The benefits of that, of course, are increased privacy and security, which is something everyone's concerned about when it comes to AI, personalization, speed and latency. So you need a response, especially in a prompt and response world. If you need something very, very quickly, it doesn't have time to go to the cloud, depending on whatever your connection is. And you don't have time to wait for that. So there's lots of inherent benefits for on-device or AI at the edge. And so because of the economic models and other things, people are starting to realize that it's not just all about NVIDIA, right? And what they're doing and how many graphics cards they're selling to hyperscalers. It's about how is AI being deployed to be ultimately the most useful to people and be the most beneficial, safest, right? And kind of counteract some of the fears. So if you look at that from a roadmap perspective, what do we need to do? Well, we need to take LLMs and we need to quantize them and optimize them, right? So we need to shrink them down so that they can be useful on a device and on a chip that has so much computational capabilities. And so we have an AI hub where you can bring your model, you can bring your own model, or you can take models, over 100 models that already exist out there, and you can optimize those models for your application in 15 lines of code and publish to the Google Play Store like that, and now you've got AI features on your app.
If you are non-technical, forgive me, Don, for translating. This playground is extraordinary, and you just send your developers to it and tell them, hey, we are concerned about a regulated industry. We're concerned about PII, PHI. We want to run locally on device. And you literally can choose from a bunch of models that neatly fit into a smartphone, neatly fill into one of these new neural processing unit computers that they've just put out. And you play with it all day long and evaluate whether these models are working for you. We've been playing in that playground for a while. It is really an extraordinary tool for developers. And while tech usually scares everybody who's non-technical, and this would actually freak you out if you went there, your developers will actually think this is one of the greatest tools they have ever seen. So again, I'm not getting paid by Qualcomm, but this is an unsolicited endorsement. And for marketers, realistically, if you're concerned, if your legal or compliance group is concerned, hey, we cannot get PHI or PII out into the world, we have to be incredibly careful. What Apple just promised is that they're not going to have any data leave the device. Your iPhone is going to become your key to a local large language model that knows everything about you, but your phone already does know everything about you. What Qualcomm has done with Snapdragon in this playground is they've made it possible for you who are not Apple to take any device out there that's so enabled and make it secure and local and something a consumer could trust. Like I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me, that was the giant benefit of getting into the playground and seeing what small models I could run locally and what value I could get out of them.
Yeah, I mean, even as the CMO of H&R Block was just talking about, bringing some of those new experiences to tax filers, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do that unless you can actually deliver that.
Right.
At the endpoint. With the endpoint, for most people, is a device. Yeah. Some sort of screen they're entering through to do these things, to take on these tasks. So that's really important from a roadmap perspective, that we continue to make this ecosystem, broad and open. We give everyone the opportunity to come, play with it, optimize, because everyone's now thinking about, oh, how am I going to make my customer experience better through or with AI, or by deploying AI? Well, you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to add that technically to my app, to my experience, to my service, whatever it might be. So that's another thing from a roadmap perspective that we're looking at. And then it's gonna spread across device portfolios, right? It started in the smartphone with Galaxy AI. Samsung just did some amazing things with the GS24 and Circle to Search and real-time translation and things like that. Now it's going to the PC, starting tomorrow. And then the next playground, from my perspective, is the car. Because the car is becoming the next living space.
Right.
It's already happened in China. If you've been to China lately, or if you've seen what's going on in China with vehicles in the automotive industry, it's mind-blowing. Massage. You sit in your car, you get a full body massage, you've got screens galore, right? It's become a new living space, and that's the next place where I think this whole this whole AI experience kind of place goes, is into the car. And then from there, it's just going to keep proliferating. So we have to keep thinking about that and then where we're going with our technology. But as an enterprise CMO, I see the flip side too. Right? I'm a CMO who has to, get every ounce of productivity out of my team. I have to improve efficiency. I have to start operating at the speed of TikTok. That's really difficult. I can't even hire enough people to operate at that speed. So these AI tools that I'm bringing in as a CMO are equally as important. So I have a duality of perspective. One, as working for a technology company that's been deploying AI for 10 years, but as an enterprise CMO, I'm also looking at things like Firefly and Writer and Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and all these creativity and productivity enhancing applications, and saying, okay, what do I need to bring in? How do I bring it in safely? Right? We have a governance committee at Qualcomm that includes legal, sales, IT, marketing. We vet these tools. We put them through like the spanking machine of governance. And then if they come out on the other side and they're deemed safe, then we deploy. Yeah. So for example, we've deployed Writer across my entire marketing organization. Game changer. That tool for copy development is a game changer. So I'm looking at that from a CMO's perspective of, oh my gosh, there's all these tools. How do I deploy them to make my team better?
Ladies and gentlemen, Don McGuire, CMO of Qualcomm. Thank you so much.